It is a great honor for me to participate in this ceremony, part of an important event of Social Security to continue its role, its mandate of helping to transform the social development of St. Kitts and Nevis. The recipients of the Susanna Secondary School Scholarship Awards, I want to extend to you congratulations. You've heard from the speakers before the process through which they have gone to select you. And I think one of the speakers, if I am not mistaken, Mrs. Brooks Jeffers, indicated that it was a rigorous and not an easy process to select you. So we are here today to honor you. We are here also to encourage you. And we are here today to make that investment in your academic success. And that investment which Social Security is making is to provide you with that first push, that first encouragement along your secondary education to a future which depends on how well you do in school. The scholarship and the award, and you heard from Miss Clark when she spoke, she told you of the difference which that contribution of $500 made to her and her family. So this scholarship which you're receiving today, students, removes the obstacle of some of the unmet needs in your education. And it is to ensure that you have that necessary support to take advantage of every opportunity to gain a good education. It is my firm belief that students showing promise deserve to be supported and deserve to be given every encouragement to succeed and to excel. This scholarship is a seed which has been planted in your life, and I think the chief executive spoke of the watering and that kind of thing, having the seed being planted. But you as students and your parents have been admonished to water the seeds which have been planted and to allow the rays of dedication and commitment. And the truth is, nobody can apply dedication and commitment but yourselves. You can have encouragement from others, from your parents, from your teachers, from your mentors, but you have to apply yourselves, and you have to commit yourselves to the task of getting the best education using this opportunity which is being afforded through this investment by Social Security. You also have to apply the rays of purpose. That is, you must know exactly what you want, and you may feel that you're too young to have a goal. But today I spoke to a young lady who has an interest in being employed. And in talking to her and asking her, well, why are you seeking employment in this particular area? She said, as a young girl, her mother spoke to her about pension. And she asked her grandmother, what was this pension? Who paid pension? And the grandmother said, well, Social Security pays a pension. And she said that planted in her mind a seed that she would like to work for this institution called Social Security at that young age. And I'm saying to you that you are not too young to have a sense of purpose. You're not too young to set goals for yourselves. And you're not too young to begin to realize your dreams and to find ways of achieving and making those dreams realities. You have heard it said many times, and I'm sure you've heard it from all of your graduation from kindergarten right through, that you, as our young people, are our nation's future. You are the priceless intellectual resources of our nation. And you would no doubt hear as time goes on how a small nation like St. Kitts and Nevis, we do not have any obvious natural resources like gold and silver, bauxite and those things. But the resource we have is a resource of our people. And you form that integral part of that resource, that intellectual capacity which will help us to grow and become a nation which is prosperous through the acquisition of knowledge and the utilization of that knowledge. There's an admonition which came from Ms. Clark which said, you must not stop looking or searching for knowledge, because it is through knowledge that you'll be able to hone your skills. And you have also been admonished that you must have a passion for learning. And I want to echo that same thing. You must have a passion for learning. And you must also want to ensure that your dreams, or through your dreams, you achieve success. And also, I want you to have an understanding and value the meaning of work, the meaning of honest work. And by honest work, I mean using whatever skill you have at school initially. You'll have your own God-given talents. You'll have your ability to read, your ability to reason. And it is through that you will be able to develop and inculcate in yourselves that value of what work means and what it means to work honestly and with integrity. Now, often we are plagued with how does a country and how does a society deal with delinquency? Now, how does delinquency occur? Now, we don't know all of the answers or all of the reasons, but we prefer to dwell on how do we prevent delinquency. And I want to put forward today that the effort which Social Security is making and the investment is one such effort to seek to channel you, make life a little easier in terms of paving the way to remove from your parents the obstacle or the need for them to provide the means for you to have your uniform, your books and so on, the means of attending school and learning effectively. And my advice to you is, now that you have been placed on that first rung on the ladder of success, you need to apply yourselves. You need to do serious studying. The detractions of the social media, I'm sure that, well, let me rephrase that. Social media has its advantages, but it also could be a source of serious distraction. And I want you, as you engage in your educational pursuits, to begin to differentiate between the effective use of the social media and other technology. And do not allow it to control you, but you control it and use it to good effect as you go through your secondary school education. In attending classes, one of the issues which came up in the last examination when we looked at the results, we found that a number of students at CAPE and at CSEC had registered for the examinations and failed to show up. Now, that is a waste of resources. You will be registering, and you have registered to attend secondary school, and with the help of Social Security, is facilitating that for you. I want you to make a commitment to yourselves that you will not miss classes unless you unavoidably cannot do so. That is through illness. Because every day you miss, every lesson you miss, it means you have to make up the time somehow. So that is another area which I want you to commit to yourselves and to Social Security, to your mentors, to your parents, and to the country, that you will not be delinquent in your studies. There's another area which I want to ask you to look at. You would have to be able to prioritize your time. You have to choose what is important, and you have to pursue what is important and leave the unimportant things by the wayside. Now, it will mean certainly doing what this Chief Executive Officer spoke about, things like discipline. You'll have to discipline yourselves. And sometimes we look at other people to discipline us. You want your mother or your father or your teachers to tell you what you're supposed to do. When in truth and in fact, you know what you're supposed to do. And I think the best person to discipline you is yourself. Then when things go right, you can praise yourself. When you get external discipline, sometimes you feel a little aggrieved and a little frustrated. But I want to admonish you and encourage you to seek to develop the art of self-discipline. Know what is to be done, set your goals, set your priorities, and pursue them. As you go through school, high school, secondary school, you will begin to develop your own special characteristics and personalities. And in that event of learning who you are, developing your special traits and understanding yourself, you will have a transition. You'll be building a transition from childhood into adolescence, and then later on, if you've built a good and strong foundation, you can have an easier transition into adulthood. And this investment which Social Security is making is to help you to pave the way to that greater transition into adulthood, to become useful citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis. In the secondary school, and I keep thinking of Charleston Secondary because it has a special place in my own life as my alma mater and where I taught for most of my years. But in your secondary school education, you will have challenges because the work year on year the volume will get greater and greater. But you also will be expanding your capacity to handle more and more work. The SPAs will be challenging, the additional homework will be challenging, and you will have to find a way of saying, this is priority, and I'm going to spend my time doing those things if I want to make sure that Social Security's investment is well protected. The secondary school life is clearly different from that of the primary school. Primary school, you had a single teacher who fusses over you. In secondary school, you will be changing from every 40 minutes or every 80 minutes or whatever it is, from one teacher to another, from one subject to another. And it will require you to be making adjustments from time to time. But one of the things which I'm finding, and it happened to us during the hurricanes that we just passed, that people found it very difficult to adjust to the reality that a hurricane comes and there will be changes and there will be things which will not be the same for a couple of days. And I think in school, it is an opportune time to begin to learn to make adjustments in your life, to be able to adapt to changes, to be flexible. And this, I think, is one of the beauties of the secondary school system, that you have teachers for different subjects, and you're changing from one personality to the other, because no two teachers are the same. So you will have to make the adjustment as the teacher comes in. And it is, I think, a wonderful opportunity that you now have through the government's effort, through the Ministry of Education, through the programs which the school offers, and through the support now which Social Security is giving to invest in your future, to begin and continue the development of yourselves, to make you into citizens of St. Kitts and Nevis, and to ensure that our country becomes the best small country that there is. I want to, last of all, take the opportunity to encourage the parents. And parents, you've had quite a mouthful this afternoon. But personally, I don't think you can have too much advice, parents. I don't think so. Because, we hear the cry all the time, parents, I can't deal with my child. I'm having difficulty. And the effort that was made by the speakers before to encourage you to take that step, to take control of the situation with your children, is not to be taken lightly. If you don't take it seriously, it means that somebody else has to. But the problem or the challenge becomes greater the farther away from the center that the problem goes. Parents, if you are able to sit with your children, if you're able to talk with them, and notice a talk with them, it will make their willingness to learn and their willingness to inculcate the values about which we've been speaking much more easy. And it is therefore your primary task to begin to take your role as parents seriously. And I do not like the excuse that some people make that I'm a single parent. I think it was it today we were talking about people making excuses for not doing things. You're a single parent, it just means you have to work a little harder. And there's nothing wrong with working a little harder. But let us not make excuses, because when you make excuses, what you're doing is giving fuel for the weaknesses which happen. So take the responsibility which God has given you, having given your children. Take the responsibility seriously. And see that if each one of you as parents do what you have been charged or what you pledged to do, whether willingly or unwillingly. Because sometimes you say, well, I didn't expect to have so many children. That is neither here nor there. The fact is you have them. And therefore, you have now to deal with the situation as it stands. If each one takes those duties seriously, by showing interest in your children's education, by encouraging the getting together, talking and discussing issues at school. Think what happened to school in school today. The child should be able to tell you, today this happened and that happened. And you, with your guidance, can help the child to get a grasp and an understanding of what goes on. So Social Security is financing, is investing. The government is providing the opportunity. But parents, you have perhaps the greatest responsibility to make this thing succeed. And so I want to say that this now is a big partnership. Social Security investing, government providing opportunity, parents, you take your responsibility, and all of the mentors and social partners, we can make a success of our children in our schools and in our communities. And I want to therefore congratulate your children who are receiving the scholarships. I want to congratulate your parents, and I want to say thank you to Social Security for responding to the needs of our children and making a success of our country. Thank you, and God bless you all.